You think you make rational decisions. You don't. Nobody does, actually. Your brain was built for survival on a savanna 200,000 years ago, not for managing a business, investing money, or building relationships in 2026. And the gap between what your brain thinks it's doing and what it's actually doing, well, that gap is costing you. Today, I'm walking you through 12 cognitive biases, mental shortcuts your brain runs automatically without your permission, that are quietly wrecking your results in work, in money, in relationships. Some of these you'll recognize, some will hit like a truck, and all of them are running right now. Let's go. Confirmation bias. You only see what you actually believe, and it's making you dumber every day. You already decided your business idea is good, so you Google it, and you find 3 articles that agree with you. You ignore the 7 that don't. That's confirmation bias. Your brain doesn't search for truth. It searches for agreement. Investors do this with stocks. Managers do this with strategies. You do this with people you've already judged. The fix? Well, before any major decision, actively look for reasons you're wrong. Not to torture yourself, obviously, but to find a hole before reality does. The people who win long-term aren't the ones that are most confident. They're the ones who are most willing to be wrong. Sunk cost fallacy. The more you've already lost, the worse your next decision will be. You've been in a bad job for 2 years, a bad relationship for 3, a failing project for 6 months. You know it's not working, but you stay because you've already put so much in. That's the sunk cost fallacy. The time, the money, and energy you already spent are gone. They don't exist anymore. The only thing that matters is what's the best decision from here. But your brain can't let go. It treats past investment as the reason to keep investing. The most expensive thing you'll ever do is keep paying for a mistake just because you've already paid for it. Cut your losses. The past is not the reason to keep at it. It's a trap. Availability heuristic. The things that scare you most are usually the things least likely to kill you. Plane crashes make news. Car accidents don't, even though cars kill 50 times more people per mile. Shark attacks get documentaries. Cows kill more people per year. Nobody is scared of cows. Your brain judges probability by how easily an example comes to mind, not by actual statistics. If it's dramatic, vivid, or recent, it feels more likely. This is why people pull money out of markets during crashes, right when they actually should be buying. Why they fear the wrong risks and ignore the real ones. Before you panic about something, ask, am I scared because this is actually likely or just because it's memorable? Anchoring bias. The first number you hear in any negotiation already decided the outcome. A seller lists a house at 500,000 euro. You know it's overpriced. You negotiate hard and get it for 470,000. You feel like you've won. Well, you didn't. You just played within the frame they set. Anchoring bias means that the first number in any conversation becomes the reference point for everything that follows, even when the number is completely arbitrary. Salespeople know this. Negotiators know this. Your boss knows this when they make the first offer on your salary. The counter, well, always question the anchor. Where did the number come from? What would you think if you'd heard a completely different number first? The frame is the game. Know who sets it. Survivorship bias. Every success story you've ever read is missing the most important part. You read about the founder who dropped out of college and built a billion-dollar company. You don't read about the 10,000 people who dropped out of college and are still struggling. You follow the fitness influencer who says intermittent fasting changed their life. You don't hear from the people it didn't work for. They just quietly stopped posting. Survivorship bias means you only see the winners. The losers disappeared before you even got there. This warps everything. Which businesses strategies seem to work? Which diets seem effective? Which risks seem worth taking? Well, next time someone shows you a success story, ask them what happened to everyone else who tried the same thing? The graveyard is always bigger than the podium. Negativity bias. One bad comment hits 10 times harder than 10 good ones, and it's ruining your judgment. You get 9 positive reviews and 1 negative one. Which one do you remember at 2 a.m.? Well, your brain is wired to prioritize threats. 1 bad experience outweighs 5 good ones. 1 harsh word sticks longer than 100 compliments. This made sense on the savanna. 1 predator could kill you. 1 missed berry couldn't. But in modern life, it means you catastrophize, you remember failures more than successes, and you make conservative decisions out of fear instead of optimistic ones from opportunity. The fix isn't to ignore the negative. It's to consciously reweight it, reframe it. Ask yourself, if I had 10 times more evidence, would this 1 bad thing still dominate my decision? Usually the answer is no. Bandwagon effect. The moment something becomes popular is usually the worst time to buy. Bitcoin at $60,000. NFTs, that restaurant everyone's suddenly talking about. The bandwagon effect says, if everyone else is doing it, it must be right. Your brain uses social proof as a shortcut for truth. In a world of too much information, other people's behavior is a quick signal. But by the time something's on the bandwagon, the early opportunity is usually gone. The investors who made the money on crypto bought it when nobody was talking about it. The ones who lost bought it when everybody was buying. Crowds are often right in the middle. They're almost always wrong at the extremes. When everyone agrees something is obviously a great idea, that's exactly when to slow down and think for yourself. Recency bias. Whatever just happened feels like it will last forever, and it won't. Markets crash for 3 weeks. You panic and sell everything right before the recovery. Your team has 2 bad sprints in a row. You conclude the project is doomed. You have 1 great date. You're already planning the future. Recency bias means your brain overweights what just happened and projects it forward indefinitely. Good times feel permanent. Bad times feel permanent too, but neither is. The antidote is to deliberately zoom out. Look at the longer time and ask, is this a trend or is it just noise? Has this happened before and what came after? Recent events are data, but they're not destiny. The IKEA effect. The thing you built yourself is always worth more to you than it's worth to anyone else. You spent a weekend building a piece of furniture. It's slightly crooked. The drawer sticks a little, but you love it. Your partner thinks it looks just fine. Your guest says nothing. Secretly, they'd have preferred the store-bought one. The IKEA effect is that we overvalue things we've made ourselves, regardless of their actual quality. This kills founders. They fall in love with their product and can't hear that it's not working for somebody. It kills managers who can't let go of the strategy they designed. It kills anyone who mistakes effort for value. The question to ask is never, how hard did I work on this? The question is, would someone else pay for this? Would they choose it if they had no idea I built this? If the honest answer is no, well, that's your signal. The curse of knowledge. The smarter you get about something, the worse you become at explaining it. You've been in your industry for 10 years. You try to explain what you do to somebody new. Their eyes glaze over in 30 seconds. The curse of knowledge. Once you know something deeply, you literally cannot remember what it felt like not to know it. You lose access to the beginner's mind, let's say. This is why brilliant engineers build products nobody can use. Why experts give presentations nobody understands. Why founders can't write a clear homepage about what they actually do. The fix? Well, always find someone completely outside your world and explain your idea to them. Not to dumb it down, to find out where you lost them. If a smart 12-year-old can't follow your logic, the problem isn't them. Planning fallacy. Your project will take twice as long as you think, even if you already know about this bias. The Sydney Opera House was supposed to take 4 years. It took 14. The big in Boston was budgeted at $2.8 billion. The final cost, $24 billion. Your own project, you said 3 weeks. It's been 2 months. The planning fallacy. We consistently underestimate how long things will take, even when we have direct experience of being wrong before. We plan for the best case. We forget everything that goes wrong. We ignore how similar projects actually went. The only reliable fix is to take the estimate, double it, and then add a buffer. Not because you're pessimistic, because history showed you it's important. The projects that finish on time are the ones that plan for reality, not ambition. Spotlight effect. Nobody is watching you as closely as you think. And realizing this will set you free. You stumble over your words in a meeting. You wear the wrong thing to a party. You post something and immediately regret it. And you're convinced everybody's noticed. Everyone judged. Everyone remembers. They don't. The spotlight effect is that we believe we're at the center of other people's attention. We're not. Everybody is too busy being the star of their own show to watch yours. The person you embarrassed yourself in front of, well, they've already moved on to worrying about how they came across. This matters because the fear of being watched and judged, well, it stops people from starting business, speaking up, creating things, taking risks. You're not on the stage. Well, unless you are. You're one of 8 billion people, each convinced that they're in the spotlight. So step in yours anyway. Nobody's watching as hard as you might think. 12 biases, all of them running in your brain right now. Well, here's what to do with this. You're not going to eliminate these biases. Nobody does. The goal isn't a bias-free brain. It's a brain that knows when to pause and ask, which shortcut am I running right now? That pause, that 1 second of awareness, that's where better decisions live. If any of these hit you particularly hard, that's your homework. Pick one. Watch it just this week. Just noticing it is already half the battle. I'm Alex, and this is Alpha Drive, where we apply the frameworks that actually work on business and life. If this was useful, subscribe. There's more where this came from.